Alright, let's see if the stream is up, and it is. With a little delay. Maybe a lot of delay. I don't know. We'll see. Doesn't matter. We're doing Road Atlanta today in Braselton, USA. And I have taken a few days off, so I'm probably going to be rusty. This is probably going to be nasty. And I got something in my eye, so that'll make it even more fun. Hate it when that happens. All right. Let's see what happens here.
Now we head to the rolling hills of Northeast Georgia for an event at Road Atlanta.
Why'd I have to get something in my eye, right? Right at the start. Gonna race with one eye. Keep one closed. Alright, there we go. And we're off! And Mr. Miller is smashing into Mr. Taka something. Now I smashed into Mr. Miller, and now I'm all over the place. You know what? What car am I driving? Nah, I was in the green car. Well, that was a mess. All right, let's restart that. I was in the green car, right? Yeah. I had raced on another version of Forza and I was using a different car. I just kind of forgot. I was thinking it was in this one, but that was a different game altogether. Bad thing to do, it handled different. One more reason, it was like a super high end. Just one more reason for bad driving today. One more excuse. Full of excuses today. That's alright. Flying out wide like that. Sato, you saw there was an opening there and you closed it, didn't you? Sato, isn't that the linguist on Star Trek Enterprise? Ensign Sato? Maybe she races cars? That's who it is in my head now anyway. I just recently rewatched that series. I don't know what to think about that series. I like it, but I'm kind of irritated by it at the same time. Second lap of 3, and right at the beginning of the second lap, actually. And I'm in 9th place, so I still got a lot of ground to gain. Keep it on the road. lots of zigzags. Which is usually my go-to section of the track. I don't know, I feel a little loose today. Pass them out right. But there's this zigzag up here that always helps me out. When do I brake? Fifth place. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. Back to 8th, 9th. Alright. We're going to try and gain some ground to this. Sixth place. That's alright, I'm starting to feel it. Probably won't make it in this race, but that should be good for the next one. This is my warm up. Seventh place. Oh well. It's alright. I knew I wouldn't take it first anyway. Drink a little more coffee. Put up a little more points. Got silver. How do you get a silver for finishing 7th? That don't make any sense to me. Sense to me. What kind of accent I got? Don't make any sense to me. Restart. I don't know what's I feel like I got something in my eye. I can get it out, and then but then it's like the more I mess with it, the worse it gets. Best not to mess with it. But then I still want to mess with it. Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller. Okay, Miller. No, it seems like there's a character I know that's a Miller. start this over. Felt like I was going strong that time too. Something. I don't think it was anybody hit me. I think I just caught that corner on the edge of the grass. It's gonna drive me crazy. I'm thinking about Miller now. Williams, oh Williams. Here in Sensato. Yoshida. I'd like to come up with like famous reference names for all these people. There's Brown in front of me. Maybe that's Doc Brown. I don't know who Doc Brown is. I'll let y'all figure it out if you don't. Doc Brown. Driving the right car for him. Maybe he didn't have it. Can't remember what he had. I don't know what it looked like. DeLorean. That's what he had, a DeLorean. And I am in the grass. There goes Insensato. Rossi. I know a famous Rossi. I raced him all the time on the motorcycle. I think he did do some car racing also. Yoshida sounds familiar to me. Maybe like from I'm not sure what it was. All those movies, maybe The Last Samurai, maybe there was a Yoshida in it. Yoshida, kind of a cool name. Let's do some good driving. Trying to buy Rossi. That was not how I intended to get by him. Coming through there like a madman. Evidently his brakes were better than mine. I had him all the way to the floor. Oh, sorry, Doc Brown. Uh-oh. I'm stuck. Cannot move. Oh. Well, I thought this would be might be a rough start today. Only reason I skipped so many days is I was having audio problems with my setup and I got frustrated and I was like, man, am I gonna do this? Could not figure it out. I don't know if it's Linux or if it's OBS itself. The Linux version of it. Not sure what the problem is, but it's been giving me technical difficulties, and after, if you want to do a live video that should last most about an hour, and you spend 2 hours jacking with the sound because you can't get it to work right, you get kind of frustrated. Anna is going to come and complain about it. She hears me talking, she probably says, oh, you need someone to talk to. That's my cat, by the way. It's very distracting. She has a way of putting that harshness in her vocalization. It can be like fingernails on a chalkboard. This is first lap, still ending the first lap. Obviously not stopping fast enough. Maybe I just gotta get on them earlier. Not stopping fast enough. It's not my intent to stop at all, but I'm not slowing down fast enough when I need to. But it's probably picking out my apex. Need to be moving the apex further back. Now on the motorcycles, you don't want to be watching right in front of you. You want to be watching as far down the track as you can possibly see. Somehow it helps you prepare for the curve. Sato, there you go. Miller. Marty's running a nice, good race. Prove to myself that I still can. Yeah, I shouldn't have raced in that other game. Like, it's got a different feel to it, especially since I was driving like a high-end car. This one is not as high-end, so there's a lot more fine-tuning I have to do on my driving. guess I had 7th a while ago, but that's alright. That's better than wrecking out. Bronze. I guess the difference in 7 and 8 is the difference between silver and bronze. Restart. Start race. Spilled coffee all over the place. What a mess. All right, let's take it. Track. I got focused on what's going on beside me and right in front of me, and I forgot, oh, this track turns. I was going for the pass there, but he didn't move over the way I thought he was going to. Sometimes I just get crazy with the thumbstick. I don't know what. I got some kind of twitches or something. I'll be driving down the straightaway and all of a sudden I'm jerking the wheel all over the place. Dang it. Messed up the steering. Turn to the left or move. It's pulling to the left. I keep having to straighten it out. I should probably restart. I don't know, I'm not doing too bad this way. I'm in 7th place. Hard. I damaged the brakes. Oops. Start race in that little banging around there also. Gosh, mercy, block my path. Insensato. Woo! That's crazy. See what you don't see on the videos. That last turn where I was out of control, there was a lot of braking and acceleration braking. I don't know, kind of random button pushes to try and pull the control to get something to grab, to get your traction to grab. I couldn't even tell you exactly what all they did there, but in doing that, you can get it to grab back and hold if you're lucky. You can't do it every time. Too bad that could be displayed on the screen for replay. There I am out in the grass again. Saddle coming up on the inside. Worked with a guy. That was like his signature saying. Somebody tell him something, he'd be like, man! And anybody that worked with him will know who I'm talking about. Probably even people that I don't know. He was a good guy. Well, probably still is a good guy. I don't know, I ain't talked to him for years. But I find myself imitating his sound every now and then. Those were some fun days. Back in working for Sauron, building the Eye of Sauron to spy on the entirety of the world. We were the conveyors of magic powers in the modern age. Can't seem to keep it on the road on that thing. Pretty good on that last turn. 6th place. Hey now, stop it. Oh, make me say bad words. Alright. All the way back to last place. Unfocused. Alright, get focused again. Pull it together. Trying to get some points at least. Bad as I'm driving, I still really love this thing. May not be able to tell it. Slammed on that accelerator too hard there, broke the tail end loose. almost lost control, and that give those guys enough edge to get around them. Otherwise, I would have had it. We're fighting for 14th place now. Oh my goodness. Almost got 13th. If I'd put on the brakes a little bit earlier, I would have had that. Finish off my coffee here. And that's the end of my 12 cups of coffee for the day. This is by 10:30 in the morning. Mind you, I was up at about 20 after 5 this morning, I think. I just smacked the microphone again. Sorry about that. Hopefully it wasn't too loud. Yeah. 2, 1, go! Bob, I think Omega Time Fat's got a huge advantage in this race. Maybe starting from the tail end of the pack, but he has years of experience. These young whippersnappers haven't yet learned how to drive. Cheap. Touching the grass there on the corner. Some people might say that. I should really be trying to drive cleaner. The cleaner you drive, the faster you get around the track anyway. Messed up a little bit on the second part of it. If you drive it clean, you should be able to pass people pretty easy, especially at this difficulty level. I remember way back when on the television, the racing game we had. My dad taught me that when you're racing, if you hear the tires squealing, that's not a good thing. That means you're losing traction. And I don't know how he knew that, because video games to learn it from. We didn't have the television either. We had the knockoff, the Sears version. I forget what the racing game was called, but it was pretty basic. I love that game too. I'm not worried. Dad was an excellent driver. Man, that's it, man. That was probably when he told me that. Maybe 45 years ago. I don't know. Something like that. I was talking to a guy the other day, explaining to him what we've seen in such a short time. This guy was he was online, just a random person we got into chat, but the changes I've seen in my lifetime. This dude was young too. He was like 22, I think he said. And so 22, what would that? I mean, he was born after 2000. Oh man, that's just hard to imagine. I've seen a world without remote controls. I've seen essentially the advent of handheld calculators. Forget mobile phones. We hadn't even, I was there before we had the handheld calculators, although they come about pretty early in my life. Third place. And our earliest TV was a black and white TV. Weber. Not the TV, the race car driver. Oops. It's gonna be neck and neck between me and Weber for second place. We got it. We got second. That was a lot better. Notice I was driving cleaner too. I wasn't banging into everybody, and I was braking when I should brake. So it's all on the driving skill and my ability to focus on driving rather than my eye messing with me. Level 17. All right. Restart. So anyway, yeah, I seen all this stuff come on, man. I was in school before there was computers. Computers everywhere. There was computers somewhere, I'm sure. We were out in the sticks, so we didn't have computers right away. By the time I was in high school, we started getting like the first Apple computers. I say first, I guess they were down the road quite a ways at that. It was an Apple IIe, and that's the only one I remember the name of. Apple IIe, we had one of those. There was some others there. We had one that was newer than that actually had a color monitor on it. The Apple IIe just had a monochrome monitor. Didn't matter though, man. I was on that. Using the programming language BASIC. I've seen a lot of changes. But what I was telling this kid is, what's crazy is my mom and dad were of an age that they actually, when they were kids, once a week, I can't remember if it was once a week or once a month, and they're both gone now, so I can't ask them. I remember talking about this, but it almost seems to me like it was probably once a month, but maybe it was once a week, I don't know. They would, both, I mean, obviously they were different families, but it was about the same routine for everybody back then, I guess. About, whatever, once a week or once a month, they would load up their wagon, hitch up the horses, and drive, or ride the, I think it was 14 miles, 14 or 17 miles, I think it was 14 miles to town. They would start before the sun up, didn't get home till after the sun went down. But they would go to the bigger town. There was a small town near them, but it didn't have near the trading ability. There wasn't as much stuff there. But they would go and get all their goods for the next period of time, whether it be a month or a week or whatever. Load up the wagon, get home after dark. So that's just from me, from now through my lifetime and through my parents' lifetime. And my grandparents, who I knew, if I'm remembering right, I know one of my grandmas was born in 1900, and the other one I think was born in 1910, but I'm not sure about that. Actually, I'm not even sure if Grandma was born in 1900. Maybe that might have been her husband. I don't know. One of my grandparents, anyway, was born in 1900. I don't remember if... that was close. That was close. I think it seems like it was Grandma, though. So, regardless, back in that time frame, can you imagine? No airplanes in the skies. Can you imagine going out and not seeing any airplanes? Nothing man-made zipping around in the air. Not hearing those things. Not hearing... You go outside now and when you're going to hear, almost anywhere you're at, you're going to hear road noise from a highway somewhere. Off in the distance, even if you're in the country, you can still hear it. Back then, you didn't hear that. In fact, kind of curious as to if you would have heard any engines. I don't know exactly when the gas engine was created. I know there was steam engines. But it's amazing. Just in those three, I don't know, would you call that 3 generations? I know that stretches over more time than I lost my 4th place spot there. That stretches over more time than just 3 generations. Somewhere I think I read or heard where they consider a generation like 20 years or something. And it was new to me when I seen that, because I was thinking like generation, like my parents' generation, my generation, but technically I guess you could have a generation in between there too. But for on a personal, like, lock to my timeline and my ancestors, well, that's 3 generations worth of progress that they've seen. And somewhere, way back, I don't know how many greats, but it's like some of my family has done the work tracing genealogy back. Somewhere I've got it's like great, I don't know how many greats, but one of my great uncles was in the party that crossed the Delaware with George Washington back in the Revolutionary War times. I thought that was kind of interesting. It's amazing when you think about it. And what would he think? He'd probably think, man, what a wimp. What are you doing? Sitting here playing video games. Yeah, but what else are you gonna do? You know? In this modern age. We've lost so much and we've gained so much, and I don't think about it now, I hesitate to put a label on it, whether it be good or bad. The challenges from back then were bad, but at the same time it's always good to overcome a challenge. You get, it's like you level up, just like this game, except for it's in real life. When you complete a challenge or surpass a challenge, overcome a difficulty. Hey, by the way, you're keeping up with my rambling here. If you're interested in this kind of philosophizing, is that right? Is that the right word? What's he doing out there on the grass? Crazy man. Oh, and he smashes in the insensato. That's Doc Brown. Doc Brown, you know he's crazy. Crazy Doc Brown. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Sorry. If you're interested in this, my style of philosophizing and even crazier stuff, check out my Substack, guys. It's Substack, Myron Tippy Substack. I don't know, search for Myron Tippy Substack. I can't give you the link right here because I'm driving. Maybe I should put it in my info below. 10th place. Second lap. Alright, clean, drive clean. Pass him clean. Get past him. Past him. Ooh. Esposito. He's from a cop show, right? Esposito. Oh, you know, Esposito. He's hit me, Castle. One of the, kind of the secondary players in that show. I think his name was Esposito. That's who he is now. On this show, that's who he is now. Esposito. He was pretty cool. I liked him. I was a good show. Castle. You ever watch Castle? I'm not much into cop shows, but Nathan Fillion, he's always a likable character. He reminds me of an 80s actor, actually. Think about if there's anybody older that ever watches this. The 80s, man, they had like, that was like the age of movie stars. And names. You had Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and I don't know, I'm sure there's some others out there. Kind of hard to think about while coming up on this corner. It was like it had all these people that in the time were really considered movie stars, you know. And you, Bruce Willis, oh man, I can't believe I can't remember this guy's name right now. The guy, Snake Plissken, what the heck's his name? Man, in my whole life, I've never been able to remember his real name. I always got to think for an hour before it comes to me. And I really like him as an actor. I don't know why his name just don't stick. But the guy that played Snake Plissken in Escape from New York and Escape from LA, Kurt Russell. He was a Disney actor for those of you who might not know that. He was one of the Disney kids. He was the computer that wore tennis shoes. I think that was him in that movie, if I remember that. But those were like Hollywood, you know, they were stars back then. Nowadays, you don't get that. Everything's kind of weird. It's like famous. Nobody's famous and everybody's famous. And that's all right. I actually, in one sense, I like it. But what I miss is the characters that you, like some characters you just liked. They didn't, when they were acting, it wasn't, I don't know, it was acting, but still it kind of felt like they were playing themselves. And that's the way I think Nathan Fillion, he's got that kind of feel to him. It seems like he's just being himself for the character, but it works and comes off great. And who knows, maybe he's nothing like that in real life. Maybe he's a complete jerk. All right. Nathan, are you a complete jerk? Are you listening? Are you watching my channel? In this mass of people I've got watching out here and my millions of views. If you are, well, hit me up sometime. Stop by the house and play some games. My house is a mess, though. You're going to be like, you won't like it, but it'll be an adventure. You can tell your people about how crazy that guy was and how bad a housekeeper. I ain't got much in the way of stuff in the kitchen right now, but I can fix you some 10-year-old hamburger helper. And if it's the right time of the month, like right after my pension check, I have a little bit, like a couple hamburger patties to put in there to make it good. Just like high-level cuisine there. So these are my hard times, but I can't complain. My hard times compared to my ancestors' hard times are nothing. I'm sitting here playing video games. And I'm still fat. Because I'm eating 10-year-old hamburger helper. Let me explain the 10-year-old hamburger helper. My wife and I, before she passed, she's been gone since 2020. But back before that, and I want to say it was probably around 2014, but I really don't remember what year. I know I had some canned chicken that we did, and it was stamped in 2014. I went through that. I found it. I've moved houses, and it was in boxes, and all this stuff is still in boxes. And we were kind of preppers, so we were storing, putting food away, and all that. And she did a lot of stuff that I didn't know. I was working all the time, and she was doing stuff at the house. She was working too, not to take anything away from her, but she was really doing a lot of prep work because we had planned on buying a house in the country and moving to it. We were preppers and we wanted to be ready if anything crazy went on, like 2020. Irony in that is she was off to her next adventure before, or right at the beginning of 2020, February 2020. So left me here to sort it all out and get the world all straightened out with you guys. And maybe just as well, because she would have been royally pissed at some of the stuff that's going on. Oh man. Anyway, so we had all this food stored up, and when I moved, I'm going through all these boxes. Before I moved, we had a room in the house that was packed full of these boxes of stuff that she had packed to take to the country with us. And so the way everything played out in life, oh man, I was kicked out of my 23 years at AT&T, the bastards. Kicked me out for my refusal to take the jab. And and that coincided. It was like a mess of things that all coincided at once. That really was like, you ever see that movie, The Perfect Storm, where all that stuff comes together and the boat sinks? Well, that was pretty much my life at that point. And then the remedy of that, my boat didn't completely sink, but it left me in this depressed state for a long time. I gained all kinds of weight. Actually, believe it or not, the job I was doing at AT&T was a more physical job. But by the end of it, I was in the process of committing slow suicide, really. Suicide by food. I don't know if I knew it or not. Who knows when I knew it. I was so jacked up I didn't know what I was doing or where I was at. Man, I hope the stream is still running, because the screensaver just came on the computer. Oh, that tells me I'm at an hour. Look at that. I'm in second place though, third lap. I might win this. I try to cut the streams in an hour. I don't like having them too long. Oh, you give me a chance there, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Kenneth Taylor. That's nobody famous for you guys, but it's somebody I know. Somebody from my youth who used to play chess all the time. Mr. Taylor, I really hope you mess up this corner. That grass. It's just like putting on the brakes. You hit that grass. That probably lost it for me. Anyway, so I'm going to run one more race. I'm going to push this one a little past an hour because I'm in the middle of giving you important information for life. All right, come on. In fact, come on. Oh, come on. I gotta run to the restroom. But let me put you on the replay while I'm doing that. And I'll come back and take first place. You replay. Alright, be right back, guys. NASCAR drivers do. What if they gotta go to the bathroom in the middle of the race? Because you definitely can't focus when that happens. Alright. Restart. Start race. So anyway, Chris, my wife, had figured out she got into the couponing thing for a while, and at the time, man, I don't know how she was doing it, but she was able to buy like hamburger helper meals for like dirt cheap via coupons. She had it all. She was great at that kind of thing. She would figure out with money stuff. She would figure out all kinds of systems. I'm nausy about money. I really always have been. Maybe I'll improve one day. Well, I'm actually getting better now. I'm forced to. Back then, I was working all the time and making plenty of money, so I really wasn't worried about it. And she was managing the finances. And she did a great job at it. We had over the years, she had a lot of health problems, and so she figured out how to kind of keep things in check. And, I don't want to get that. I don't want to get into sad stories, but anyway, she knew how to coupon, so she built up this room. We had a 4-bedroom house, and we made one room in what we called the store, and we would just keep stuff stocked back in there. I guess in the old days you would have called it a pantry, but it was a full-size bedroom. We put shelves in, and it was loaded up. And eventually because we were getting closer to what we thought, when we thought we bought land, and we thought we were gonna build our house over in East Texas. So she started boxing all that stuff up. She took all those, because the hamburger helper boxes are so, there's a lot of air in those boxes. The noodles are in a plastic bag inside of a cardboard box. Oh my. direction I'm going. Alright, I'm screwed there. Let's restart. I'll finish my story. I'm probably going to have to save this and break it. I'm at 107. I definitely won't go over an hour 30. This is just going to be a long one today, I guess. But she's broke those hamburger helper meals down, and she started putting, she'd take the plastic bags out of the boxes they were in and had buckets, and she just put the plastic bags in the buckets. And she would take the meal packs, which were, or not the meal, the flavor packs, which were in between the plastic bag full of pasta and the cardboard box, and she was putting that in a whole bucket, completely separate from the buckets that she was putting the pasta in. So, and we had a bunch of other spices that we bought in bulk and stored in vacuum sealed jars. And, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. So, flash forward to present day, and I'm like struggling to get by because of the way everything played out. And I am so thankful to Chris. All that work she did, because it's been keeping me alive. Now, some people might turn up their nose at, hamburger helper that was produced back in 2014, but I'm thinking maybe it's like fine wine. Focus here, low concentration. We're still on the first lap. I've lost it. Restart. So the canned chicken we did, it was, I think it was March of 2014, and I just finished it off back in, I think I ate the last of it in December. We had 2 boxes of it, or really a box and a half. I thought we had 2 full boxes of little pint cars, or canned chicken breast. And they weren't bad. I told my buddy, he got a good kick out of it. So I told him, well, it ain't the best I've had, but I've had worse. It was to the point at that point, consider, that was 2014 and it was 2024 when I was opening it and eating it. And so, that's kind of approaching the end of, especially on meat, I think on anything, of what they say, 10 years is supposed to be kind of the life of canned goods. But it had a kind of, I don't even know what kind of taste you would say, maybe it's almost like, it's not like the meat was going rotten or anything, but it was just kind of breaking down. There's no bacteria to break anything down in there. I think it's just like a cellular breakdown from time. So it was kind of going through that, and somehow that flavor come through, and I don't even know what to tell you what flavor that was adding to it. It wasn't great, and if you had lots of money or had a choice, you'd probably say, no, I'm not eating that, but for me, it was a very good thing. In fact, it was freaking amazing. Because groceries have gotten so expensive. It's kind of funny. You know, I went through such a dark period there for these last months. I should say the last years since 2020, and even before that, there was things. I won't get into all of it, but it had been a long, difficult stretch for a long time. And I finally now kind of come to terms with things. And it just popped into my head while I was racing here a second ago. I felt like I had to put those words in there so you'd understand what it meant to me. But the words just popped into my head a few minutes ago. I really love life. For being broke, you know, I'm loving it. And I'm going to get through somehow. I'm going to work with the universe. The universe is telling me, hey, I got your back. My Substack goes further into that kind of talking and considerations. If you're the type of person that likes to jaw about the nature of existence and that sort of thing, my whole life that's been a thing for me, and I don't know why. Probably would have been a easier time mentally if I could have just put all that aside, but I've never been able to. Makes you question everything, and then you get to talking, people think you're lunatic because you gotta question everything. Doesn't matter what some expert said this or that. Experts are just guys that read books. Most of them. Vast majority of them. I'd say 99% of experts out there are just, probably more than that even. Or just guy that read, a couple more books than you. And suddenly they're an expert just because they got a little more lingo to talk about whatever the subject is. But they don't really know. Their time's about here too, just like the movie stars in Hollywood. Experts are going away. The curtain's been pulled back on them. Toto has grabbed the curtain. And pulled it back. Oh man, that was the last lap. I wasn't even looking at that. I was racing good. I thought I had another lap to go. I thought I might win that one. What are we at time-wise? 1:15. All right. Like I say, I give it to 1:30. Push it a little later. Maybe I can get this. I'd rather finish first. That's my goal in this series. I want to finish everything first on video. That'll give me a good library of videos for YouTube to have out there. I don't know if I can have enough stuff to talk about. Actually, the first few videos I made, I really didn't talk this much. I did on some maybe, but for the most part I was really getting into where I was really having to focus on the racing. That's probably the reason I'm not about fishing first right now. I'm talking so much. This Audi. Not giving me any names up top anymore. Did I hit a button to shut that off? That's it, reading my nose. I was playing with the buttons and see if I can turn the names back on. I don't know what button it is, and I forgot that Y is the rewind button. This is emergency brake, not sure what A is. Come on, get a hold of yourself. Number 2. I hear a whistle right there. Something blowing a whistle right there. Have to call a penalty or something. Alright, stay focused, stay focused. 2 turns here. Turns are my specialty. Sharper than I was prepared for, but I made it. Second lap. Oh my goodness. All right. Oops. What button did I hit there? 25. No, 21. So this will be my last attempt. If I don't make it, well, cut it short. Make another video. Maybe the next video I'll get it in the first go. Oh shoot. artificial governor on your car when you get off the track. I was actually need to get used to the screenshot button. It's over in the middle. I was messing with that. I thought, oh, that'd make a nice screenshot when I'm in the middle of the traffic. I could just reach over there, but I couldn't find the button with my thumb, and I got focused on that. And obviously right now I'm completely out of racing mode. But oh man. Let's see if I can place higher than last, at least. I don't like opting out of a race unless the car is just so damaged that there's no hope. And I don't have that yet. Car is in good shape still. No squeal rule. I don't know why I'm all over the place here. I've lost my focus. Maybe my limit is an hour. Maybe I only got so much focus in my headspace. It does take some good focus to run a race, at least at my age nowadays. Maybe you youngins out there could probably race all night. I used to on MotoGP, the motorcycle race, back on the original Xbox. I was pretty high ranked on it. Not at the top or anything, but I was in pretty tight group. I want to say I was in the top 1,000 in the world. And there was a lot of thousands of people. That was back when there was less games, so there was more people playing every game. And that was one of the first racing games on Xbox Live. That was a blast, man. I remember thinking back then, man, this is going to change the world. You get on your console and race with people around the world. I was racing with people in England, and Germany, and Italy, France. Some of them I could talk to, some I couldn't, because all I could speak was English. Some of those Europeans, though, then they got multiple languages under their belt, and some of them don't, or at least they pretend they don't. But it was a blast. Back in the pre-streaming days, one of the cool things we had back then though was there was a game, ESPN NFL 2K5, I don't know what order, maybe it was NFL, ESPN, I don't know. But it was a football game made by Sega, 2K5. that was the best football game. It had so much stuff, so far above Madden, and it was a sim type game. It wasn't really an arcade game, so it was a little harder. It took a little while to figure it out and set up a league with that game, and man, that was freaking awesome. I wish we would have had streaming back then. I would have liked to recorded some of those games. Some of those games were just epic. We had about maybe 8 or 10 players, I don't know, from all over the country, and they were all people we knew. People worked with AT&T actually. I think most of them were, if not all. And it was just an epic game till it all come apart. I kind of messed it up. I was commissioner. That was all new to me, and to me it was like any trade amongst players it was free trade. It was a libertarian in me, I guess. But people were getting pissed because some guys were obviously better than others, and I still don't think it really mattered. But one guy was turned up. The thing was, he was good, and he managed to pick a good team. I forget how he chose who got to pick first, but he picked the Patriots, and the Patriots at the time were a good team. And he was an excellent player. Besides that, so he was tearing it up, and then he made a trade. This was like in the second season with one of the other players. I forget who he picked up. It was some high-end receiver, somebody like Jerry Rice or something. And I let it go because I'm like, I'd seen enough to know that it really didn't matter on the level of team you were playing if you know what you're doing. And nothing, he was just a good player outright. So he could have taken a worse team. I guess I should have maybe. I didn't think about it at the time. Maybe we should have, to even it out, forced a redraft of teams at the end of the season. That probably would have been a good thing. But I didn't think about it at the time. Anyway, that kind of blew up the league because some people got upset, and then everything started name calling across the board. I had some funny emails. And people get so upset about a video game is pretty crazy, but it was cool. It would have been cool to have those games on. Have them on YouTube. I had them streamed and all that. Not to mention with live streaming, we could have watched them. The competition going on live, which would have been freaking awesome. We actually had some guys that were recording on VHS tape, and then they'd bring it in at work, and at lunchtime we'd go into a room that had a VHS player and watch the game just for scouting purposes, see who was doing what, how. Some of us were in Texas, some of us in Missouri, and some of us in Michigan. All right, well, I could sit here and gab all day, but I guess I'll close it up for the day. Y'all have a great one. I'll catch you later.